Any changes to the agenda? Okay. I will be moving the public comments section to the end so we can deal with the other business. That's the only change that I'm aware of. Can you take a look at your board minutes from the last meeting? All right, whenever you're ready, I'll accept the motion. We have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Minutes are approved. I don't really have any board chair comments at this time. Financial reports.
We have the financials for July, August from the city, September will come later, and then we have investment reports for August and September. Some of the investments were just down ever so slightly, but nothing.
So now that we're through September, are there any budget shortfalls, any areas that we need to be concerned about? So actually, it looks like that's for the city office. Oh, here it is. City office, sorry. Okay. And is this budget that they have in here, year-to-date budget, that is based on what we submitted to them, correct? All right. So actually, our investments, we were significantly ahead of schedule on that. Looks like we're okay. All right, as far as the investments, did you say we have, is it up through September? Or just August? We were up from August. And I'm really just shooting, looking year to date. So we're up across the board, year to date, down a little bit in August. Okay. Bank account, we're fine on, nobody moving any money around, nobody owes us that. We're good on our quarterly distributions. Okay. Old business?
All right, we do need to approve openly and transparently the display policy,
Okay, I tell you,
but that's the policy.
so maybe we explain why we thought there was a need to change policy more to reflect the other policy changes that have been put in place. And do we,
I can give you the Cliff's Notes version. It basically says that if any library display that we create or do or put out, that displays in children's sections will follow the same principles as our material selection policy to ensure that that display is appropriate for children's displays. We're not gonna put it on the sentence. It will make sure they follow the state obscenity laws, the recommendations and the requirements set forth in the code about that. We just needed a more formal policy than the director would approve a display.
okay, and the policy will require library director approval.
They have to run them all through me.
Same standards and discretion shall be applied to such promotions and displays that are applied to the material selection process, including but not limited to the rules regarding restriction on materials that are sexually explicit, obscene, or harmful to minors. So again, this is just incorporating the updated language that we have in the policy manual to now also affect or impact the display policy. So nothing earth-shattering there. I assume that you've all had a chance to take a look at this policy. One thing to point out, any patron wishing to object to a library display should follow the procedures outlined in the material selection reconsideration policy on page 51 of the manual. So again, we're saying, look, if someone has an objection to a particular display that we have, then they can challenge that as well. The staff and board of trustees hold no responsibilities for displays that are altered by members of the public, and when such alterations are found, staff will immediately inform the director. So, we have cameras, we are watching, but if something is defaced, we'll try to fix it as soon as we can, and we'll fix it. With that said, probably need to vote to approve this. Can I get a motion? Okay, and a second. Allison, second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, so we will update that and send that to ADLS, correct? Okay. New business, approval of the library holiday schedule, and I'm assuming it's similar to prior years, or any changes that?
We did have National Library Workers' Day, but if there's an objection to that, I would request that we have it as a staff day, where we would come in at National Library Workers' Day.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it. They seem to have a holiday for everybody now.
They deserve it.
Son's Day, Daughter's Day. So,
There is.
National
There's a
Library
holiday for
Day.
everybody.
Okay. Any issues with the holiday schedule? So we basically got Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, 3 days then. And the reason why the third year is we are open on Saturdays, Christmas holidays, so we've got the day before and the day after Christmas, day before and New Year's Day, MLK Day, President's Day, National Library Workers Day, just putting that in, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, and Labor Day. I'm assuming this is somewhat similar to what the city does.
Very simple.
Okay. Anybody have a problem? Do we have to formally approve that?
It's always nice.
Okay, can I get a motion? All right, second, Allison, going second again. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Okay. Display policy, we just took care of that. Request for approval to spend funds, okay. So, let's get the background here. So the new business is request for approval to spend funds with the American Library Association. Obviously, there has been some problematic language, with the ALA. A lot of libraries have disassociated, or states have disassociated. We no longer pay for a membership for the library director or anyone else with the ALA. However, the ALA does provide some training, and what you're requesting here is nursery rhymes, reflections, and considerations for story time and beyond. This is not developed by the ALA. It's actually developed by an individual that is with the Colorado library system. She's in youth literacy and outreach specialism. And y'all are going to take this Zoom course, and the cost is that $79 per?
$79. That's all we're asking.
Is that just for one attendee?
For one attendee. Well, I think if Ambry set off to the side,
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah, per attendee, technically $79.
Okay, so this is really for,
It's for our youth staff to
okay.
develop.
Does anybody have a problem with a $79 charge to take a CLE or CPE for, I guess this would be youth, so for Ambry?
It would be Amanda has made a request.
Okay, Amanda and Ambry, any issues with that? Now, according to the policy that we have to, since this is related to the ALA, we actually have to vote on that. Yes.
Because it says we have to have your approval.
Okay, so because of the changes with the ALA and the disassociation, we're now asking for, or they are asking for approval of a $79 charge to take this course. Can I get a motion? Allison with the motion, Craig with the second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Foundation report?
Right, Amy could not be here today, so she's still looking into ways to redirect the DECO Millennium Foundation grant.
So we're not losing money?
We're not going to
using
lose
it for the money?
We're just not buying it. There are different outreach needs that are much more important than a vehicle.
Okay.
We're gonna meet Friday to talk over a couple of different scenarios. I would love to see us be able to purchase more large print materials so we can expand our homebound books by mail program. Maybe even get out into nursing homes, that kind of thing. That's the kind of outreach we need right now.
Okay. So that's just report, nothing to vote on there. You will get back with us at the next meeting, likely with recommendations on how to redirect those funds to still meet the flavor of what it was there for. But now we're looking more at large print, potentially going into nursing homes or at least homebound.
I think the foundation was discussed.
Yeah, the foundation
Okay.
is assisted. Our other thing, the foundation has ordered Christmas ornaments with the library on them as a fundraiser. When those are coming in, but they'll be in time for Christmas, if y'all need a Christmas ornament. And she did want to let you know that we will post letters or at the printers, and they will be sent out next week.
Any other activities on the agenda as far as fundraisers?
Oh, yeah, we've got Sweets in the Garden coming up, and I didn't. We put out a vendor call for the vendors to come in, and we will set it up out in the garden. They will have their wares for sale. It will be a fundraiser for the library. Pray it doesn't rain every time we plant something for the garden. It rains. That's November. Don't ask me for specific. It's
November 7th.
November 7th.
7.
Okay, do we have any plan for, do we want to do something around Christmas? Is there something holiday in?
I do need to ask if we can close at 4 o'clock on the day of Christmas parade, so we don't get locked in here with all the parade activities.
Do we need to vote on that?
No, if you can just say yes or
Are
no.
y'all fine with that? I'm fine. Okay.
We will be doing a tree in the Donnell House this year again.
Right.
That's fine, that's on the list. We need to decide if we're gonna do the Christmas parade or not. We do have another craft fair coming up just in time for the holiday season. Do you have a date for the craft fair? You said
December
December
7th.
Craft fair meeting, that's something we would host.
Yeah, we host it. They all set up and you come in. It's fun.
Okay, anything else? So bill letters going out, sounds like we have a couple of activities, looking at large print, homebound, nursing home. Okay, anything else from the foundation board? Robert, anything from the board that you're aware of beyond what was
Just
just
discuss foundation board. No, I mean, I think that covered everything we discussed.
Okay. All right, the director's report, municipal.
All right, so at the end, what I have is October through August. Some of my September numbers haven't come in, but this is where we're standing right now, which is,
So, since I'm louder than you are all. Registered library patrons, 10,181, 70,554 visits to the library, 216,176 items borrowed, which at retail value is north of 4 million. 864 programs,
we're busy.
attended by 21,769 adults, teens, and kids. 6,846 uses of library computers, 8,558 public logons to the Wi-Fi, 14,108 books read by 480 reading challenge participants, 27,539 reference questions answered, 2,574 listens to the podcasts. The collection size is just at 75,000, around 4,000 DVDs, about 1,000 audiobooks, 54,000 books, 15,000 audiobooks, 571 newspapers and magazines, and that would be through August, not updated through September. So,
How does that compare? Put it in context, how does that compare? All these numbers, I guess, are up from.
They're going to be slightly up from next year, except we did less programs this year over last year, but we had more attendees this year,
Okay.
so.
so the papers number will be slightly up year over year. Anything else, record report that you feel like needs to be taken up today?
I made notes, but I will condense. All our year-end reports to the state have been turned in. They have received our updated board bylaws, our constituency of board, everything that they need. They've received the new policy manual. And as a reminder, our state aid will be dependent upon whether or not they feel that the policies are acceptable and meet the recommendations in the code and what the governor.
When will we hear that?
We were supposed to have a meeting next week, and that got postponed. They're hoping to reschedule in November, so maybe we will hear by then. But what they have done is the deadline, this deadline was just to meet that first quarter check. They are giving all the libraries until June 30th, 2025 to get their policies in compliance. So even if you don't get it for the first or second quarter, if you're in compliance by the 30th of June, 2025, they will send you all of your state aid money.
Okay. I didn't know that they extended it.
So when the first quarter, meaning first quarter of the fiscal year, so that would be October, November, December. When do they typically send that funding out?
December.
December. So they will have a meeting in November, we should know by then, and we have no reason to believe that we would not get our check for December. However, if we did, then we would make changes. All right.
Just as a Little policy clear up, our old policy did state that any minor under the age of 13 had to be accompanied by an adult, and that left no provision for a tutor or an older sibling who was possibly not quite an adult, but they had been approved by the parent as an appropriate supervisor for their child. We just updated that line of the policy that an older sibling, babysitter, tutor would be seen as an appropriate supervisor.
And that was based on feedback from the last meeting, so.
Just as a future, this is what I'm doing for the next 2 months. It is time for us to develop a new 5-year plan for the library. I'll keep in touch. Our youth services staff opened up a second story time to alleviate their high wait times. Both sessions filled up immediately, but our wait list is down to 1 or 2 people, so that's what we were looking for. We hosted 2 storytelling events this week in conjunction with the Storytelling Festival. One was supposed to be stories in the garden. We thought we were going to get rained out, so we moved it in. It was first in the garden with rain. And this, every time we do something out there, it wants to rain. And then this past Monday, we hosted the finals for the school children. They have had storytelling events in the schools, and the winners came here and competed. And the winners of that event Monday night will go on to speak on the big stage here at Storytelling. Next week on the 15th, we're doing something fun and new. We called it the Pumpkin Promenade because we like alliteration. We're going to have kids come in, decorate plastic milk jugs, 2-liter bottles, and later that night, we're going to open the garden for a special after-hours event for the kids and their families to come through and take a look at what they've done. We're going to pop glow sticks in them and light the garden up. That was a fun thing. That's pretty much it. Is that enough?
Sure. Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to public comments. Look, this is your time to speak. Certainly don't want to keep you from that. I will say we've had public comments probably since October. Not telling you that you can't stand up and repeat the same thing you've repeated the last 6, 8, 9 months. It's your right to do so. If you're not treading any new ground, let's think about whether or not these comments are necessary. If you do speak, I don't want any, let's not be mean-spirited. Don't point anything towards anyone in the audience. Don't need any audience feedback. Don't need any outbursts. Don't need crosstalk from the audience. If you want to talk about people in particular, you can point that towards me. Just don't do it to each other. And let's realize that we're all communities. Citizens of the same community, and there's no sense for us to fuss at each other. I feel like we're kind of at an impasse, regardless of which way you believe. I doubt you're going to change any minds in this one. So, with that said, let's keep it civil. Certainly, I'm not trying to tell you you can't talk, but think about whether or not what you're saying is really necessary and going to move us forward. Carrie Cobb?
Yes,
You got
sir.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
As you know, I'm Sheriff Cobb. I'm from Athens, Alabama. I pastor a church in down in Madison. A couple of things I want to tell. I know some of you folks disagree with some views because I've heard from them, but my views are probably in the majority of the vast majority of the mainline denominational churches and all across the nation of the clergy. So just to let you know, my tradition says that the metric we're going to be measured by in the end, when we meet our own Maker, is when Jesus comes to us and says, "I was hungry and you did not feed me." And we'll say, "When did we not feed you?" And Jesus is supposed to say, in my tradition, that when you didn't do it to the least of these, my brethren, you did not do it to me. We cannot use an excuse that we're too busy moving books around in the library to feed the hungry. We cannot say that we're too busy getting our laws changed to support our views on how books in the library should be stationed to feed children. We cannot say that we used our energy to make sure we had people on board so that supported our views about books in the library, and we had no time to feed our children. We cannot say we joined groups that supported views on books in the library and lobbied state officials and governors to support our views on the location of books in the library. We did not lobby for the governor or the legislature to make sure that children are fed in school lunches and breakfast. We were too busy worried about books in the library. Not only that, but even Michigan has signed a law that says that you can have free community college for children. We did not do any of that stuff. So when we're confronted with those words at the end, and Jesus said what he's going to say to us, according to my tradition, we're not able to say, I didn't know that. You know why? Because I was told.
Very good. With 50 seconds left.
Probably gonna mess this up. Brian Walsh.
People, can you skip for a minute at my house? Because I can need some rain this morning. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Brian Ward, a resident of Limestone County for the past 9 years. I'm going to try and do this quickly. I have 3 points to make and still like to use back a minute. So Carrie, I think, did that. First, I reviewed the bylaws changes presented at the last meeting. I think you did a great job updating the policy in compliance with recent changes. I especially like the section on borrowers cards and the option to give parents opportunity to decide what they want to have their children have access to. This keeps the responsibility where it belongs with the parents. Second, as long as any group attacks the primary mission of the library to provide materials and information presenting all points of view on current historical issues, I will be here to support the library board. Materials should not be prescribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval. Groups that are advocating for an agenda of hate and discrimination should not be allowed to dictate what materials the library provides. Lastly, I encourage everyone here to obtain a copy of HB4, review it, and contact their state legislators with your opinion. It is available on the Alabama legislature website. It is a pre-filed bill that will be addressed in an upcoming legislative session. I think it is an extremely bad bill and threatens to do great damage to Alabama libraries. It subjects people that work in libraries to felony charges just for doing the job they were trained for. I'm afraid many of the dedicated, hardworking librarians will choose to either leave Alabama or their chosen profession. Thank you for dedicating your time to serving on this board.
Rachel Humble. Rachel, I thought you were sitting up front.
I had to take a phone call, sorry, and I didn't want to disrupt you.
Oh, thank you.
So, first off, it's possible to be dedicated and work for several different issues. You can be for removing sexually explicit materials in the library and also help feed children, help other causes, whatever that may be. To stand up and say that you have to have one or the other is not only stupid, but it's unchristlike. So let's just make sure that we get that straight. That's kind of like asking, like saying, hey, we have more people die from heart disease in America than any other disease. So cancer doctors, you're worthless. You shouldn't do what you want to do because of all these people dying of heart disease. That's stupid. So can we quit with that type of mentality? So I am proud to be here in Alabama. I'm proud of KFE. I'm proud that we have these policies that have been set to protect our children from sexually explicit materials. And you all should be proud too. And if you're not, the Founding Fathers established the United States of America so that you can go and reside in the state that you most relate to. If you don't like it, you can leave Alabama. And it is so important for you to sexualize kids and to have them exposed to sexual content in the library, such as how to insert anal butt plugs and, how to masturbate and kinks, then go to a state that embraces that, okay? We have state policies set, and I am, again, so happy that they are set, but we also know that wherever there is good, like in these policies, evil will always try to sneak in. And so I'm here to make sure that you all know that I dedicate my life to make sure that you don't try to sneak that evil in anymore. I will be keeping watch. I will be here at every single meeting, and I will always make sure that the people that want to sexualize our children here in the libraries, that they will be caught, and we will make sure that those materials don't get into the hands of our little ones. Remember that millstone, Pastor Cobb. Thank you.
Deb Colfax. Deborah.
I'm Deborah Colfax. I've attended a number of ALCPL Board of Trustees meetings over the last several months. I have listened as dozens of individuals address the board and attend the public. Nearly every speaker has prefaced their comments with assertions of support for this library and praise for our local staff. As an avid reader, library patron, and longtime Limestone County resident, I have been gratified to hear those sentiments expressed. I asked to speak at today's meeting because I believe hypocrisy should be called out and innocent people should be defended from attack. There can be no doubt that Alabama public library staff, including right here in Limestone County, are being used as pawns in a despicable game. My message is directed at those of you present who have openly called for suspension, reduction, or elimination of public library funding and or the imposition of burdensome requirements on public library boards and staff. My words also apply to those of you who have supported such efforts behind the scenes. I ask you to carefully consider what you have done, to consider the real harm you are causing to real people. Actions speak loudly. What you are really saying to both this board and this library staff is, I don't value professional training. I don't recognize your expertise. I don't trust your judgment. I don't respect you. I am so determined to advance my personal agenda that I don't care who gets hurt. My message today is also directed to the members of the ALCPL Board of Trustees. As I see it, the members of the board, as the governing body of an organization, have a duty to protect and defend that organization's staff. The board is in a unique position to do so because the board can issue public statements and take other actions which individual library staff members cannot. It is critical for the staff of any organization to feel they are not alone in facing and resisting attacks on their professional reputation, integrity, and job security. I implore you to take steps to ensure that our public library staff have no doubt that you value and support them. Thank you.
Andy Long.
My name's Andy Long, and my wife and I have lived here in the Limestone County for 16 years. So time flies when you have fun. I'm not here to condemn anyone. I'm here to thank the board for implementing common sense policies. So, as a dad of 6 kids from ages 10 to 25, part of my role is to protect my children, and I appreciate your efforts to help protect my children and the children of our community. Anytime we, as a society, implement, rules, laws, or policies around things to help protect kids, that's a good thing. We have longstanding, ways to identify as a movie rated R or is it rated PG, those sorts of things. And those are good things, and that helps us, as parents, to understand what that content is, whether our children should or should not view that content. And so, since we have policies around computers in this library, and now that we have policies that align the book content with the computer content, I think that's a good thing. So I just want to say thank you to the board for helping us protect our children.
Marilyn Harris.
Good afternoon, I'm Marilyn Harris, I'm a resident of Limestone County. I've been in Limestone County for the last 2 years. I visit the library, I check out books, and the library for me is a place to go, it's a learning institution. And as a concerned constituent, I urge you to prevent groups from interfering in the governance of Limestone Public Library. And that would be those individuals who do not reside in Limestone County. They should not have any decisions, any input in what's going on in Limestone County. And allowing their influence is going to threaten the integrity of our library and undermines the voices of those who live here. So please protect the Athens Limestone Public Library from outside interference and ensure that its governance reflects the needs and values of Limestone County. Thank you.
Gordon Neeson?
Yeah, I'm gonna take your guidance and keep it short for the things that are sort of unique. I guess I would like to say that the comments that have come up with the state legislature is working on laws that would endanger the livelihood of the librarians and staff. I think we need to protect them in the same way that the police are protected from doing their job. We need to consider the fact that they're doing the best in the following the proper guidance, and that they should be protected as our other public servants seem to be going afoul of the law.
Amanda Donald.
No, I'm behind, I'm checking.
Hi guys, good afternoon, and I'd like to start by thanking the board today. So start by saying thank you for all the changes that you made. I'm sure combing through all of the laws and policies was quite time consuming and stressful given the gravity of the situation. Given the claims made in the last meeting about the rules not going far enough, I personally reviewed the proposals by the governor and the current policies, and I found that many of the claims made were unfounded. First, Governor Ivey's proposals originally made no mention requiring Alabama libraries to implement unsupervised minor policies. The library is the safest place, especially for my children. Rules limiting accessibility to all children will have negative implications for everyone. As a reminder, it is a constitutional right to freely assemble. The second claim made, minors shouldn't be allowed unrestricted library cards even with parental consent, except it's made specifically clear in the Alabama Administrative Code, Rule 520-2-2-.03-3, which states library cards for minors under the age of 18 must require parental approval before a minor's card is permitted to check out materials from the library's adult section. Further discussion of removing parental consent from unrestricted library cards is an infringement on parental rights. I would encourage everyone in the room to read the Alabama Legislative Services Agency Administrative Code. It is full of useful information to help curb many of these arguments we're having today.
There are several sections dedicated to librarians and patrons fighting against censorship brought forth by groups with goals of suppression. I'm not going to read the entire section to you all, but I do encourage you to do your homework. But I am going to read one specific section. Rule 520-3-1-B, titled Freedom to Read. To some, much of modern literature is shocking, but it is not in life itself shocking. We cut off literature at the source if we prevent writers from dealing with the stuff of life. Parents and teachers have a responsibility to prepare the young to meet the diversity and experiences in life to which they are exposed, as they have a responsibility to help them learn, to think critically for themselves. These are affirmative responsibilities, not to be discharged simply by preventing them from reading works for which they are not yet prepared. In these matters, taste differs, and taste cannot be legislated, nor can machinery be devised which will suit the demands of one group without limiting the freedoms of others. I do not want to see my children's rights taken away, neither should you. Thank you.
William Hatfield.
Good afternoon. I want to preface my comments by saying that a lot of what I have to say will be a bit redundant after previous commenters. But as a member of a different demographic than most of you here, I still feel it's worth saying to present a unified front. Like I said, my name is William Hatfield. I moved here to Limestone County with my wife and 2 daughters from Okinawa, Japan 4 years ago after serving 12 years in the Marine Corps. Both of my daughters attend Elkmont Elementary. We come to the library all the time as a family to get new books and to participate in library events such as Adventure Begins at the Library. And my daughters have had dogs read to them and have read to dogs, so they seem to be a suitable story. All that to say, we are truly grateful to services being provided by the public library and the work of the board, librarians, and any volunteers and sponsors who all come together to make the library such a critical part of our community and a place for kids and adults alike to discover the wonders and joys of reading. As a citizen of Limestone County and an avid supporter of libraries, I wanted to express my deep concern and dismay at the attempt of non-local organizations to interfere with the governance of our library and the current goals of strictly limiting what is available at the library and endangering the livelihoods and freedoms of our librarians, all in the name of protecting children. As Commissioner Haley has repeatedly stated, the library is an enriching and educational institution that is filling its expected role admirably and should not be interfered with. As a concerned citizen, I beg the members of the board to keep outside influences from limiting the services our library provides and allow librarians and volunteers to continue providing this service to our community and our children. Please work with Athens city officials to come to an appropriate board solution and choose board members who respect the spirit of the roles that local libraries serve and who will be dedicated to continuing that mission for everyone, regardless of affiliation or belief system, even if they conflict with another group's views and beliefs. Thank you.
Melanie Pulowski.
Is it okay if I'm just recording this? I have a bunch of papers, so I'm going to be able to look at everybody, but is that okay? Sorry. Already, because I've tried to go through so much in such a short amount of time. All right, ready? Okay, I'm going to address the board. So, books matter. That's why everybody's here today. So, chances are everybody in this room has read a banned book or a challenged book. They're a more empathetic human because of it. So, the first time I spoke here was in April. And I did the statistics of the books that have been banned and challenged. In 2004, 390 books were challenged. In 2014, 183 books were challenged. In 2021, 1,858 books were challenged. So in 2022, and that's the last statistics I had, 2,571 books were challenged.
And then, I didn't have this statistic then. In 2023, 4,240 votes were challenged. So there was a jump. There was actually a, let's see, what was it, 92% jump. So in 2021, Moms for Liberty was founded. So censorship since then has, for some reason, been on the rise. So we have the 92% increase, but there has been the 92% increase was actually on the public library books that are challenged. So the other trends that we're seeing is that groups, and you've heard a lot of people mention that, of your consent people here, that's because of groups and things like that. So why are people saying that? They're saying that because there's evidence that book banning is becoming increasingly organized. So I printed out here, I encourage you guys or anyone else, this is the Moms for Liberty, just of the United States. This right here is all of the people. It has books is the first thing for you to go click on. Then it has sex ed, social, emotional learning, CRT. So you can go through every single thing, and then it tells you how to contact your members in your community. It actually does the letter for you. You just insert your name. So that's why all the other times when I showed up, that's why. And we have members in this community. Elizabeth Stewart is not here today. She's the vice chair for Moms for Liberty. And speaking of right-wing media, I have a bunch of evidence of when they're on speaking, representing Moms for Liberty in the community, as well as Chris Allen. And Mrs. Honolette. Oh, I'm 22 seconds, I'm sorry. So that's why we show up at these meetings, and that's why we say things as far as fascism and things like that. And as far as the organization as Moms for Liberty, here's where Moms for Liberty, this was Indiana, they quoted Hitler. He alone who owns the youth gains the future, you hear support of that. Here's the Moms for Liberty Tiffany Justice saying, I stand with that mom.
All right, anybody else want to?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Tia Payne. I apologize that I was not on the list. I didn't know that I needed to do that beforehand. But I've only been in Alabama for 4.5 years. I'm here from Illinois. The library staff, all of you have been beyond wonderful to me. In addition to obviously I'm not for this censorship thing. As much help as I have gotten from the library, I don't believe that any one of these people would guide my daughter to an adult book. I don't believe that if my granddaughter were to go up to any librarian without my presence, without me being there, and ask for something that was specifically in the adult section, whether that be because of age or because of subject, I do not believe that they would give that to that child. I trust implicitly every member of the library staff. I thank you for them. If there was a way, I would love to see them get more money. I would love to see the library open more. Library has to close on Saturday. This is what we need. We need more support for the library. They need a raise, they need time. As busy as it's been, I have never gone up to any of them and felt like they rushed me, or felt like they weren't attentive to me and only me in that moment in time. And I can never thank any of you enough. I wanted to publicly say that. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say that I'm immensely gratified with the vast majority of these comments today.
All right.
Thank you for the service that you give us. I'd just like to say I'm a long-time Limestone County resident, retired Army colonel, and I would like to say that at no time in the history of the world people that try to ban books, been the good guys.
I'm Clara Keyes, and I was born in Limestone County, and I started out at the Houston Memorial Library when I thought it was a library.
Well, and guys, I probably should have thought about some of the director's comments, but didn't really know the makeup of who's going to speak today, and I did want to say that we certainly do not mind anyone giving their opinion as long as it stays within 3 minutes and usually civil. I think today, by and large, was appreciate the fact that there wasn't a lot of the chatter among groups. I would ask, look, I fully understand no matter what side of this you come down on. If one's here, the other feels like they have to be here to counteract each other. My thought is, to what end? What is the goal? I think we all want to see this library succeed. I do not want to see fighting among the users of the library cause a loss of funding or somebody not want to give to the library their own money. I would be curious to see if our contributions have gone up during this time. I'm not sure that they have. If we are worried about funding, if we do say, which universally, every speaker that's spoken since October has said, hey, we're doing a good job, the staff is doing a good job, that a lot of the problems that other libraries around the state are having, we don't necessarily have here. If we don't have those problems, and we do have a wonderful director, and we do have common sense employees that are trying to do the right thing for the kids, what are we still working about? Again, I am more than happy to have all of you attend every meeting. I went 14, 15 years without having any of you attend these meetings, so I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem with it. It's just, at what point does the rhetoric die down and we just get back to business as usual? Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you can't come, you're more than welcome. It's just, I know it's a lot on April and the group because they feel like they're under a microscope. They feel like if they make a mistake, an honest mistake, and we just do, we're not going to be perfect, that they're going to be crucified for it. And I want to see that stress come off of April and those that work here. I want them to feel like they're doing good for the community and the community embraces them. The numbers that she shared with us from the statistics lead me to believe that people are using this library and that it is a good place. I want to see that be shown through the funding level from the city, from the county, from the state, and from its patrons, frankly. At some point, and the community's been generous. We wouldn't have ever built this building had the community not pitched in and put the money in. But at some point, let's all pony up a little bit more to try to help this library out, especially if funding were to be cut. Please remember that the folks that are sitting up here with me, other than April and DJ, we are volunteers. We signed up for this. We can take the criticism. We're asked to serve. We don't get a dime for any of this. This is all time that we spend for the library's benefit, and frankly for the community's benefit. So I do thank the board for being here and for taking some of these bullets. And just think about what is your goal for the library and what can you do to help it reach that goal. Maybe we can chat about that next week. Anything else y'all want to say? Okay.
Well said.
Well, let's adjourn. Go get some lunch. Thank you.
It's not good to be here, so I had a great day. Very serious. Yeah, it is.